Has your confidence in him been shaken at all when you see the Bridgegate revelations, what you hear from Mayor Zimmer from Hoboken?
Well, I'll tell you something. I don't believe the governor knew anything that was going on with the bridge stake. I really don't. We all have staff members that sometimes do things that we're not proud of. You can't be around everyone all the time and police them all the time. I don't think Governor Christie, those that are responsible should be held accountable for that. As for Mayor Zimmer and Hoboken, I mean, I just think the story is far-fetched. I'll be honest with you.
You don't believe her?
I don't.
Okay, folks, welcome back. There you go. That is the mayor of Union City, Brian Stack. He's a Democrat. We're joined right now by my friend, former mayor of Bogota, New Jersey, Steve Lonegan, former candidate for governor and state senator, or U.S. senator from the state of New Jersey. Hey, Steve, how are you?
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me on.
Always my pleasure. Good job yesterday on CNN as well.
Yeah, and I would say that Dawn Zimmer's story becomes even more incredible, because think about this, Steve. She allegedly has this meeting in the parking lot where she feels she's being strong-armed. Last May, not only did it take her 8 months to suddenly have an epiphany and realize this, she didn't tell a single person. She didn't pick up the phone to the White House, to Bob Menendez, Frank Lautenberg was alive, to her congressman, her legislature, her fellow councilman, her borough attorney. She didn't mention a peep to anybody. And this is not a wilting flower. Mayor Zimmer is an outspoken, dynamic individual. She's aggressive. She kept us all inside, and suddenly 8 months later, she has this story to tell. I don't believe a single word of it.
Yeah, and she said, I'm sorry, I was going to say, she said the reason she kept it is that no one would believe her, yet she claims to have journals that document it, so she had journals then too, didn't she?
She would have had journals then, too. And it was eating at her so much. This is just such a nonsense story. Look, if anybody, and you and I know Hudson County, I mean, if you open up the word corruption in the dictionary, there's a map of Hudson County right next to it. I mean, this is an area, if you're trying to get a building permit, a project approved, you go through red tape on top of red tape on top of red tape. Now, Kim Guadagno, who I know well,
the lieutenant governor,
was charged early on with the job of getting projects through the red tape. She even ran a red tape committee with advisors of what are we going to do to get the red tape so we can get economic growth and jobs and construction moving. So she goes to Hoboken, says to the mayor, hey, mayor, let's get these projects moving. The state needs the growth with Hurricane Sandy recovery. You know, your city needs, don't let it get hung up in your Democrat Hudson County machine. And now this woman has a different view of that message.
Yeah. And
I do not buy it one bit, not one bit.
And you go ahead.
Well, furthermore, if you look at the money that's poured into Hoboken from Hurricane Sandy, they've received and been approved for $100 million.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, she makes it sound like they got no Sandy relief aid unless she signed off on this this project. And, of course, they have gotten tons of Sandy relief aid.
And another $43 million to individuals and another $6 million in SBA loans and hundreds of millions more for school aid, school construction. I mean, we're pouring money into a city. And, by the way, that's not a poor city. That's a wealthy city. Go up and down the Jersey coast, any of these towns, and see if any of these towns that got slammed get anywhere near the money that Hoboken has already received and is receiving.
And what about, Steve, the so-called, the commercials for New Jersey Strong and Congressman Pallone's, who, by the way, you roasted me on the night that he and I were roasted, Congressman Pallone, at the Boat Jumpers, a night which was very special to me. But, I mean, isn't he just playing politics here by launching this federal investigation into the use of the Sandy funds for commercials?
Well, it's more than politics. This is a cathartic episode for the Democrat Party that got behind. They had this candidate named Barbara Boner to run against Christie. They hung her up to dry, and when they got done with that, they threw her under the bus. Nobody supported her. The party abandoned her. And now they're trying to make up for that because the DNC probably said, hey, guys, what are you doing? You just built up Chris Christie to be a winning presidential candidate. Let's take him down a notch. So now you're watching a real pile-on. Those commercials, here's the most important thing about the Hurricane Sandy commercials. They worked. They worked to drive people back to the Jersey Shore. They worked to get people back on track. I mean, this is a governor who inherited a state that was in real trouble when he became into office before Hurricane Sandy, the worst catastrophe in New Jersey history. It's been a brutal battle to get back through that. Those commercials worked. He was the face of the state and the face of the recovery. Governors have done this for decades all around the country. He had every right to be in those commercials. This is a pure political pile-on designed to take down the image of a governor who was leading Hillary Clinton just a month ago, coincidentally.
Yeah, and now
but
he's...
the latest in this political three-ring circus is how now they've joined together the Assembly Investigative Committee and the Senate Investigative Committee. Those of us in the know is that Loretta Weinberg was flipping out because she wanted to be right out there in front with the rest of the team. So this is all about circus, theatrics, you know, making a big show, bringing in the...
And tell the folks Loretta Weinberg is...
She's the state senator from the 37th district who's leading part of the hearings, the Senate side of the hearings, with Wisniewski on the other side. And she was very upset that she wasn't allowed to be front and center. So,
right.
And she's the former candidate for lieutenant governor with John Corzine.
Let me ask you, we only got a minute and a half left. A couple of things I want to get in real quick. There's been a call for the governor to step down from the head of the Republican Governors Association, but Reince Priebus, the head of the RNC, said he should not. Do you think he will or should?
He absolutely should not. Look, Republicans need to take a lesson from Ronald Reagan's book. When Ray Donovan was being hung out there to dry in the press, even before an election, he stood up behind Ray Donovan, never backed off in supporting the former Secretary of Labor. And that's the gentleman who had that famous quote when he was vindicated, "Where do I go to get my reputation back?"
Right.
I'd say that 3 months from now, Chris Christie is going to be working on getting his reputation back because this is a political pile-on.
One more. What about your political future, sir? I hear rumblings that you are planning to run for Congress in a seat that will be vacated by Congressman Runyon in South Jersey, correct?
I am, and it's a district, Steve, that Mitt Romney lost. John Runyon won with 53%. I got 54% in that district against Cory Booker, arguably one of the most popular Democrats in the country.
In the Senate race, yeah.
Right. And I was outspent 6-1, so I'm ready to roll into action, and we're looking forward to a great race.
All right, and we'll be in touch along the way. Thank you, Steve. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Steve Lonegan, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting, and that I didn't realize that while Congressman Runyon, a former Philadelphia Eagle football player, won that district, Romney lost it. And then in the Senate race in November that Lonegan lost, he beat Booker in that district. So that's going to be an interesting race. All right, folks, we're coming back. And we're coming back right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Did you hear about the big Yankees signing? We'll talk about it. Newsmax TV and radio.